So I'm a research scientist. I specialize in community technology research and development. In the past year at Third Place Technologies, we've been exploring how can we leverage new technologies, such as social media and open data, to really quantify and then help improve community well-being. I'm a big believer in the power of community to have a meaningful impact on your quality of life, and the research supports this. Generally, the more you're a member of a vital community, the happier you are. Unfortunately, in urban environments such as Seattle, oddly enough, even though it's more people per square foot, people tend to be less connected. They don't have as many friends. We've all heard of the Seattle freeze, right? It's real. It's hard to connect. Now, community is not just good for happiness. It can actually make the difference, a life or death difference in a crisis situation. This is, I like to think of this as a zombie apocalypse test. Ask yourself this: do you know enough people in your neighborhood within walking distance that you could band together against a zombie horde and not only beat it back, but actually thrive and recreate society as we know it? So what can you do? But probably not, right? So what can you do? What can you do to have these thriving communities that are happy, but also, most importantly, can withstand crisis situations? This is a key question we're exploring at Spoken, at Third Place Technologies, and one of our main projects is Spoken. It's an online civic network with tools to really help you understand how can we improve our neighborhoods' well-being. We've done a lot of research went into this, questionnaires, online social media analytics, you name it, we did it in the past several years. And we're actually weeks away from releasing this, and so first of all, I want to recommend you all go, check it out. You're going to see how your neighborhood compares to other neighborhoods. Get some good ideas about what you can do to improve your quality of life. But right now, what I want to tell you is just sort of 5 top recommendations for in your neighborhood, what can you do right now to improve your quality of life. The first is to really join the conversation. It's happening already. Conversation's already happening. And a necessary condition for a thriving community is that people know each other and regularly interact. So you'll need to go out there and join those conversations and be really actively engaged. You can do it face-to-face. Face-to-face, it has more impact. But in our urban environments, we often have trouble finding those face-to-face interactions. So this is where you can really leverage social media to compensate for that lack of face-to-face interactions. Where do these conversations happen? They're often in what we call third places. So third place is a place outside of the home and outside of work where you can meet strangers and go from being strangers to friends. They are breeding grounds for community. Most neighborhoods have third places. They have them sort of clustered like this. Find your third places, and if they don't exist already, you need to start making them in your neighborhood. Not too surprisingly, economic success is also really important for the well-being of a neighborhood. So think about that. Think about how can you help the economy, the microeconomy of your neighborhood. Invest locally, hire locally, send all your kids to school. That said, extreme wealth actually does not correlate as highly with community well-being. What we find is that people in these wealthy families tend to be a bit isolated, they're disengaged, not talking to each other, and there are no third places. Another thing that's really important, so don't move to Medina, I'm trying to say. Another thing is find the community hub. So these are people in your neighborhood that everyone trusts, they have all the keys, they started a blog, they've got your mailing, there's a mailing list. They are the keepers of the local lore. Find them, they're doing a lot of the community networking for you. Take advantage of them. And if there isn't one in your neighborhood, become the community hub. And there's a lot of great role models out there that you can take advantage of. I can tell you all about later. Another important thing is diversity. Diversity is a double-edged sword. Diversity can be great as you bring together different perspectives. You can be more creative and more effective problem solving. But it can also create a lot of distrust, a lot of tension. The key difference is that your community is inclusive, that people feel like their voice matters. And so it's important to signify, to celebrate diversity and signify in some way that you value or it's important in your neighborhood. So think about it in terms of festivals, your role models in your news media, and your art. Art can be a very important cultural signifier that can inspire a feeling of belonging. Finally, I want to emphasize that your fear of strangers is probably the thing that is the most threat to the well-being of your community. It's as if everyone already believes that we are already a zombie horde. I promise you, we're all human. You can trust each other, mostly. I promise you also that if you can find something in common with your neighbors to connect around, for example, that you're in the same neighborhood, then you can really radically improve your community well-being.